Hello, you guys. Today's Friday. Happy Friday. This what you see at the beginning of this video before I start doing my talking is what we're going to be discussing today. If you all follow me on YouTube, I shared a picture of the guy and the situation that what we are going to be talking about today. I got my article and my information from allthatisinteresting.com and Ty, and this is called The Story of Scott Amedure, the gay man who was murdered because of his appearance on the Jenny Jones show. I'm going to read through this article, and after that, we're going to talk about it. Now, I can tell you, I remember watching this, not when it first premiered, but I watched it as I got older to see how this happened, why this happened, because it's very sad when you kind of think about it. And I'm going to give you my opinion about it. So as I read it, after I read it, I will give you my opinion and my thoughts about it. So here we go. Now, if I mispronounce the words, please bear with me. I can read, but I can't say the words good. So here we go. And as you see, this picture right here is the two on the segment of the show. When Scott Amedure confessed his crush on his straight friend Jonathan Smith while appearing on the daytime talk show, a stunned Smith seemed to laugh it off. But 3 days later, he shot Amedure dead. Okay, and this is the picture right here. Okay. On March the 6th, 1995, Scott Amedure went on the Jenny Jones show to confess his secret crush on a man named Jonathan Smith. Both men led quiet everyday lives in the American Midwest prior to the day. And perhaps they would have continued to if they hadn't gone on one of the most popular talk shows of the 1990s. But just a few days after their appearance on the show, Amedure was dead and Smith was arrested for his murder. In the end, Smith was convicted. I can't talk today. Was convicted of second-degree murder, sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison, and ultimately retired and released in 2017. Questions remain, however, about the so-called Jenny Jones murder. Perhaps chief among them is this: if the Jenny Jones show hadn't invited the men on the show, would Scott Amedure still be alive today? Scott Amadure's life before the Jenny Jones show. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Scott Bernard Amedure lived in an all-American life. His father, Frank, was a truck driver, and his mother, Patricia, was a housewife. Shortly after Amedure was born, the family moved to Michigan, and Frank and Patricia divorced shortly after. Amedure subsequently dropped out of high school to enroll in the Army, where he served for 3 years before being honorably discharged with the rank of specialist. I can't talk today, y'all. He returned home to Michigan, where he worked in the telecommunications industry for several years before finally switching over to bartending, his preferred profession because he enjoyed the social life that came with it. As an out and proud gay man, Scott Amedure was generous when it came to his community and even took in his friends who were suffering from HIV complications at a time when no one else would do so. But his life forever and irreparably changed when he went on the Jenna Jones show on March the 6th, 1995, to confess a secret crush he had on his friend Jonathan Smith. According to Jonathan Smith, he was completely blindsided by the revelation that Scott Amedure was his secret admirer. The Jenny Jones producers, however, argued that they told Smith that the person could be a man or a woman. Regardless of which version of events you believe, the end result was still the same. 3 days later, after the show was taped, Amedure reportedly left a suggestive note in Smith's mailbox, leading to a lethal confrontation. After Amedure admitted to Smith that he left a note in the mailbox, Smith went to his car, pulled out a shotgun, and fired 2 rounds into Amadure's chest, killing him instantly in what became known as the Jenny Jones murder. Smith then phoned 911 and confessed to the murder, though he would later testify that he felt gay panic in his defense. Nevertheless, in 1996, he was unmately convicted of the second-degree murder. The conviction was subsequently overturned on appeal, but a 1999 retrial of Smith guilty of the same crime he received in the same sentence. In 2017, Jonathan Smith was released from jail. And though he's remained out of the spotlight ever since, Frank Amedure Jr., Scott's brother, wasn't convinced that his brother's killer had learned his lesson. He read, "I wanted to assure the decision was not based on good behavior in prison," he said to the Detroit Free Press. "I like to know that he learned something, that he's a changed man and is no longer homophobic and has gotten psychological care." Okay. The role of the Jenny Jones show ended Amadure's and Scott Amadure's death. Okay. As you can see, this picture right here is in 1999. It's members of Scott Amadure's family, including his father's Frank, at the press conference in 1999 following the civil trial against Jenny Jones producers. Okay, here we go. I'm finding more information as we speak. It's hard to overstate just how different things were back in the 1990s. Homosexuality was a curiosity at the time. One of the reserved for daytime talk shows like the Jenny Jones show. And when viewed through today's lens, there are little questions that Scott Amedure would still be alive today if he hadn't gone on the show with Jonathan Smith. But there were many in the 1990s that were also convinced that the Jenny Jones murder could have been completely avoided. Writing for Buffalo News attorney Alan Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz said that he believed that Jones and her producers were more than just neglecting it in their behavior. Gee. In fact, Dershowitz believed that Smith's malice played more of a role in Scott Amadure's death than he claims of a gay panic. Through the show is stopped just short of outright accusing Jones and her producers of murder. Jenny Jones should not take any solace from the legal conclusion that her show's conduct does not excuse Shermidt's conduct. He wrote, "The First Amendment protests the show from any legal consequences, but it does not amuse or whatever that word is, them from the criticism which they justly deserve for the irresponsible actions. But whatever capability the Jenny Jones show producers have in a legal sense, the fact remains that Jot Amedure was killed after being used for entertainment on television. Now that you've read all about Scott Amedure, read the heartbreaking story of Skylar Niece, the 16-year-old best friends brutally killed her because they didn't like her anymore. Then read the chilling story of Jasmine Richardson, who killed her family with her werewolf boyfriend. Okay, that's that. Okay, so we have read this article. So now I'm going to try to find a video clip of the Jenny Jones show in this clip from YouTube to show you about how this segment begun. So then we can talk about it. So that's the article that I just read to you. I hope you all guys like it, and once you read it, we're going to talk about it. So that will be on the video today. Thank you. Hello you guys. This is a video related to what we're going to be talking about today on YouTube, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you I give my credit to YouTube for this clip of this video that you're about to watch, and we're going to review that, and we're still going to talk about it. So let me just tell you, this video, not this video, the clip, but this video that I'm making, it may be a little long, but it's going to be okay, because I feel like after 27 years, it needs to be discussed and back and reviewed, because I feel like the family of Scott Amedure didn't get their justice. So, like I said, I give my credit to YouTube for this clip, and you can also go back on YouTube and watch. And the article I got is from allthatisinteresting.com, and if you don't believe me, you can always go back and look it up on Google or Encyclopedia or whenever to reread it and review it if you may. So I'm about to start this video, and after we watch this video, we're gonna discuss about this video, and give you my opinion and my thoughts on it. So I hope you all enjoy.
Now, which of these ways would you choose to reveal your secret crush on someone? A, would you write that person a letter? B, would you tell the person in private in case he rejects you? Or C, would you tell that person that you're gay and you hope he is on national television? Donna and Scott. Now, Donna has been helping Scott pursue his secret crush on John. John's backstage. He can't hear us. How bad's the crush? Tell me about the first time you met him. Where was he?
Basically, he was under a car working on her brake line.
Yeah. And that was your first time? What was your first impression?
Well, I only saw the lower half of him, so you can imagine.
You think? Okay, you think about you have fantasies about him?
I've had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, you had when he was under the car. You had a fantasy about him.
Yeah, something to do with like brake oil line snapping and.
I think Scott went on the show not with an intention of embarrassing anybody. I think Scott went on the show thinking this was going to be a spectacular way that he could show somebody that he cares about them. Sort of like, I don't know if in your days of being single, there's a girl you really like, you want to try and come up with something really neat to impress her.
Tell us about, you have another one that involved, you were in a hammock or something? Tell us about that.
I think she pushed him into things that he didn't really want to do. Like, Scott was very nervous.
Tell us about that fantasy.
Yeah, actually.
Jenny Jones told them to make it look good for the audience or she would be very mad. And they offered Scott to give him flowers, and Scott wouldn't do it. Wanted Scott to kiss John, Scott wouldn't do it.
I got a pretty big hammock in my yard, and I thought about tying him up to my hammock.
And?
Well, it entails like whipped cream and champagne, stuff like that.
Now, John, he knows you're gay, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that he is?
No.
Anything's possible.
You're living in the 1990s. It isn't hard to offer somebody, a young, impressionable person, the opportunity to appear on national television, to express a secret crush, something that he doesn't feel necessarily bad about. He doesn't understand the dangers.
What is it that's so exciting about him to you?
He's got a cute little hard body. One you just want to pick up and put in your curio cabinet, dust him off once in a while.
You want to physically pick him up?
Oh, he's just a tiny little cute thing. He's gorgeous.
Well, all right, let's see if he really is. Get the headphones off of John and let's have John come out here and see who has the crush on him. Here's John. Crush on you?
Did I? No, we're good friends.
Well, guess what? It's Scott that has the crush on you.
You lied to me.
I mean, he's confronted with this horrible situation on national television. You can see when you watch him, his hands go to his face in humiliation and embarrassment. And Jenny Jones exploits that and keeps twisting the knife and twisting the knife.
Before we talk, take a look at, we'll show a little playback of what Scott said about you, John. Take a look at that monitor
right
down
here?
there.
Well, it entails like whipped cream and champagne, stuff like that.
Scott was pretty open about, he's been fantasizing about you since he saw you under that car for the first time. He had an under-the-car fantasy and he had a hammock fantasy he's been telling us about. Did you have any idea that he liked you this much?
No.
Can you tell us what your status is? Are you involved with anybody, or?
No, but I am definitely heterosexual, I guess you could say.
He'd been engaged to a woman for 3 or 4 years, and they had broken up several months earlier. He thought probably it was she, and if not the ex-girlfriend, someone else he had met at work with whom he thought there was a spark between the two. And so he was fantasizing. He gets on the airplane. Before even he gets on the airplane, he goes out and he buys a suit of clothes, a sport jacket, a pair of slacks, and a new shirt, and a new tie, and I think even new shoes. And he gets himself all spruced up because he is now convincing himself that this is going to be the turnaround event in his life. This time, if it is his old girlfriend, he tells everybody at work. This time, he's going to marry her.
Donna lives upstairs from me. And Scott was the guy one night I pulled in. She was looking at her brakes, and I was looking at the brakes too. And Scott pulls in behind me and goes, well, your car's pretty funny because I drew this peace sign in the back of my car, and it's, it says Peace Man on it. And then Scott says, you look like a hippie in your car. And then you get out of your car, and then he told Donna that I was a good-looking guy. And Donna told me, and I said, well, it's flattering, but...
It's flattering, but you're not interested. There's no way. There's no way, right?
No, I'm now...
Well, at least you got it out. Are you very disappointed?
You can see her on the tape draining every last drop she can get out of it. She says to Jonathan, after he sees it's Donna Riley there sitting with Scott Amedure, and he kisses Donna Riley, and Scott Amedure, obviously set up for this, tries to embrace him, and he pulls away and avoids the embrace, sits down in the only empty seat next to Scott Amedure, and as the audience hubbub kind of dies down, Jenny Jones from out in the audience says, so...
Did you think Donna had the crush on you?
Did I? No, we're good friends.
He gets halfway through the sentence and she says, well, guess what?
Guess what? It's Scott that has the crush on you.
You lied to me.
His first reaction is to turn to Scott and to Donna and say,
you lied to me.
The bomb starts ticking. At the moment, Jenny Jones exposes with a big flourish and a huge audience reaction that it's in fact Scott Amedure who has the secret crush on Jonathan, not Donna Riley. They leave the show, and Jonathan's still trying to act the gentleman, agrees to drive them home from the airport. The following morning, after staying up all the night before, drinking with friends from work, he goes home and he sees a note written by Scott that if you really want to get it off, I'm the only one who has the right tool. Jonathan sees this, and I think the bomb is really going off at that point.
That, ladies and gentlemen, that was the video, or the clip of the video, even though it was like 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes long, of what you just saw, verifying some of what I said. Well, most of what I said in an article, what I found in an article, what I read to you all. And I just want to clarify, I do not own rights to this video. It's just a clip. But I just wanted to give you my input and show you this video. Now we're finna go and discuss it. Thank you. Hello, YouTube. This is DeAndre Dobbs. Happy Friday. Back with another YouTube video today. And as you may have saw from those clips, from the clip of the YouTube video related to what we're talking about today in the article that I showed you and read to you, that basically shows you what we are going to be discussing today. Okay, about the Scott Amedure and John Smith's segment on the Jenny Jones show, with the Jenny Jones show. And basically, I'm going to be honest with you, I saw and read and heard about the same thing a couple of years ago. Like, I've read it and watched the clips of the video more than one time in the past, and it just didn't sit right and well with me, because when you think about it, it's like, I feel like, my personal opinion, I feel like if this segment never would have happened, Scott Amedure wouldn't have got killed. His family wouldn't have had to go through the pain that they went through all those years because of a segment that went wrong and because of a person. It's basically in the question. Was this person really? Was this person, was he gay? Was he bi? Was he DL? That's the question to me, my opinion. Because when for a person to do what he did to Scott Amedure, I can understand that, he may have been uncomfortable. Take this for instance. Even if he was uncomfortable, and this letter that was claimed that Scott left in the mailbox at John Smith's house, he could have called John Smith's to talk to him. He could have called Scott Amedure. I'm sorry, y'all. He could have called Scott Amedure and talked to him about that letter. Could have explained it over the phone and tell Scott Amedure in a respectable way that he doesn't look at him like that. He looks at him like a best friend, like a buddy, someone that he's cool with. But instead, it's like what happened, like what they said in that video that we just watched on YouTube. It's like a bomb went off in John Smith's. And what does he do? He takes a shotgun and goes over to Scott Amadure's house and kills him. Point dead. Shoots him in the heart. And he's dead. And I'm going to be honest with you. That's really something to think about. Now, this happened almost 28 years later. March the 9th of 2023, this year, will be 28 years since this murder happened. And March the 6th, 1995, was when this fiasco, this segment started. And Scott Amadure's family has had to suffer for so many years because of the loss of their loved one. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they was rewarded an amount of money over a lawsuit with the murder of Scott Amedure and the segment in the courts. I think they was rewarded. I'm not really sure, but I think I remember reading something about that. I couldn't find that information. So basically, I just went to enough links to give you all what I found and what I've read to you all in that clip of that video. So I'm hoping that that's good enough. I'm just gonna go on and tell y'all I did my best I could, to give you the right information. Cause like I just said, I'd rather give you all the right information and then the fake information, the information that does not make sense. I don't do that. Before I do anything like that, I like to give you all the right information, the right stuff that goes along with it, the stuff that is related to it, then to give y'all this false information, because false information does not mix well. It's best to get the right information. So I'm just going to go on and tell y'all that. But it's just a shame on how that went. Now, I'm going to give you some more of my opinion. I feel like if that segment and if that episode haven't aired, I feel like if that episode and that segment have not aired and have not happened, Scott Amedure would still be alive today. He never would have lost his life the way he did, which is totally sad and disturbing still after 27, 28 years this year that's happened. And I'm going to tell you this. I might be wrong for this, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I blame Jenny Jones and the producers of her show for this. I feel like if she would have discussed another topic or segment, it never went the way it did. That's just me saying that because if you all don't know, if you have a reality talk show host, if you have a reality talk show, I don't know much about this, but I know most reality talk show hosts, if they interview a celebrity or whatever, they try to get all the hot tea and all the hot scoops that they can. And especially on a hot segment like it was on the Jenny Jones show. But if you watch that video, you can see how, to me on that segment, Jenny Jones was thirsty. She was thirsty. I'm just going to go and tell you, she was thirsty. She was just trying to get every little drop of that Coca-Cola that was in that bottle. And she did not quit till she got all that little Coca-Cola out that bottle till it was empty. And then, you know what she got out that Coca-Cola bottle when it was empty? She emptied the bottle. She put the top on it. You think she would recycle it? Nope, she threw it away. And to me, that's what I think she did to her show. When that murder happened to Scott Amedure and John Smits killed that man. That's what happened to her show after that, and these lawsuits and them going to court, the show, and Scott Amadure's family having to suffer for all that. And you know, it's sad and crazy because the thing is, I don't know how to be honest with you, I don't even know how they became guests on the show. I guess they, they call your house or they look you up in a book or something and they call your house like that. I don't know. But I feel like I'm not taking up for John Smith because he shouldn't have done what he done to Scott. But I feel like he was tricked into it. I feel like he didn't know what the segment was going to be about. I feel like he was tricked into it, just like Scott. And, and the thing is, Scott is basically confessing his feelings for this man, for this other man. And I feel like he humiliated himself doing that because he didn't know. He didn't know 3 days later he was going to get killed. He didn't know that. Scott didn't know that about himself. Like, how could you know? How could you know? And then this girl that's sitting up there, I don't know if she knew anything about it. I think she is clueless just like the others was. Clueless as well. But I can honestly say that, it's crazy. It's sad. And if I'm not mistaken, John Smith he got 25 to 20 to 50 years in prison. So he went to prison in 1996, but got released in 2017. And like his brother said in that article that I shared, he said that he feels like the person that took his brother's life did not learn his lesson. And And I also read in another article that I forgot to share with y'all that I believe the family forgave John Smith. I believe they forgave him, but I think his mother, Scott Amadeur's mother, said like, "We forgive you, but it will always be an empty hole in my heart because of my son's not here. You took her son away. You took an important member of the family away." And I'm going to say this. The article that I read, and I believe this article, it says that, and I believe Scott Amedure, he was part of the LGBTQ community. He was a gay man, out and proud gay man. And he was a sweet person for what I've read. It says that he took in a person who was diagnosed with HIV, sick with HIV, when nobody else didn't want anything to do with that person. And I think that is the most greatest and generous thing a person of the same community in every lifetime could do. Because a lot of people would not do that. A lot of people would turn you down in an instant. But Scott didn't. Even though Scott Amedure, even though he faced a lot of obstacles, think about it, in the 1990s, it's the 1990s, and you know how it is, for the LGBTQ community. A lot of people was looked at different, and just like now, was looked at different, and still today. But when you think about it, it's still like something to think about. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm outside, and it's a pretty day out here. Because this is the only way I can get some, a little quietness and a little free for thought. But yes, I think, there was a great thing for Scott to do. Like he was helpful, like he did so much for people. And I feel like Scott was kind of tricked. He was tricked in his own way too. Like, I feel like if that segment wouldn't have happened, and I feel like if that wasn't the topic, and I feel like if none of them was called on this show, none of this wouldn't have happened. None of them wouldn't have to suffer the pain that they are suffering. Scott Amadeur's family and everything. Now, John Smith's, I don't understand. I can understand, like, if he wasn't comfortable with, about what Scott was saying and about what he was doing. But the thing is, and the question is, do you think John Smith was either closeted gay, or was he closeted bisexual? Was he closeted DL? We don't know this. He said he was straight. But you think about it, though. Think about it. Why would he just automatically snap like that, get a gun, go to Scott Amadure's home, and then shoot him in the chest, killing him instantly? That's still a question to think about. And it's sad. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I've been thinking about this on my mind, on what I'm going to do on my YouTube videos. But this automatically, it really got on my mind. And I said, you know what? I feel like this should be discussed. I feel like this should be discussed and be opened. Because, as a man of the LGBTQ community, as a gay man myself, I felt like this should be talked about and discussed. Because, I feel like stuff like this does not get talked about long enough. Like, depending on what the topic is, like a lot of people just talk about like stuff that happened years ago, before another decade and generation. It gets talked about when it happens, but then it gets talked about so long that everything is not out in the open. Like, they'll tell you what they want to tell you, and then they put a lid on the box and then place it away. And I think it shouldn't be like that. I feel like you should tell all the information, no matter how hurtful it is, no matter how much it's not helping people's, because every little information, every little word helps. Every little clue helps. That's how I feel. So that's why I decided to do this video, because it's been on my mind, and I really wanted to, grace the memory, not the bad memory of what happened to Scott Amedure, but do a good memory about him. Like I want to show my gratitude to his family and show my gratitude to him. Like, let him not be forgotten, because I still am in disbelief, even though I was a year old when this happened back in 95, because I was born in 1995. I'm 27. I'll be 28 next month. And I might be young, but I still like to go look up old stuff that's happened. And I feel like once stuff like this is opened again and talked about and discussed, I feel like we will feel better and get a better understanding of it. But that's just sad what happened to that poor man. Lives was lost because of that segment. And Jenny Jones, I feel like her basically her career just went down after that show. And I also read and saw that after that, it still premiered and still episodes was coming on. But I think after that, a couple of years, the show kind of went down and they just started doing reruns. And the show aired from 1991 to 2003. So that's how I feel about that. Rest in peace, Scott Amedure. So what do you guys think of this video I made? What do you think of the article? What do you think of the clip I posted? Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your feedback if you would like, because I would like to know, and I will respond back to you as soon as possible. Also, follow me on my social medias. Instagram, DeAndre Marquis Dobbs. Facebook, DeAndre Dobbs. And my Twitter. I might have to wait on that Twitter. But yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. And I hope you all like this video. And let me guys know what you think. I hope you all enjoy your Friday. Thank you. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Love you guys. And I want to thank you all for so much positivity that you all have given me. Watching my videos, leaving comments, even though if it's not much, even though, it's a start. I got 18 subscribers, but I'm not going to quit doing my videos to otherwise. So I'm not going to keep up. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing till I make a way, because I know the good Lord will make a way, and I'm not going to give up. I'm doing what I love. And I want to thank you all so much for this. Thank you all. I love you. Have a wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.